Yeah, I just finally set up the gear. And I'm literally looking at I'm learning subjects for fun for now. Because I don't have a choice, right? If you're outside the education system, you want to make your leeway to college someday with money backing, you have to learn stuff for fun to begin with. Alright, everything starts with volunteering. I was looking at some of the stuff with Paul Xavier. I looked at some of his vids a while back, right? Everything starts with volunteering, having actual friendships, and not fairy tale stuff. You know, that what's it called? Is that manga or anime? I don't know what it's called. It's somewhat legitimate. It's just 99% of it is just BS. My talent is I just can decipher the legitimate stuff from the BS. After I think about it for a while, I can filter it out. It's not really money. It actually is friendship. It's just that most friendships aren't really actually what people want. It's just junk. It's trash. And that includes for all monetary classes, right? You have to filter it out. It's really sad these days. Now, people will say, well, I need to understand. Well, you need to also put out more, too. No, it's true. You know, back then, your beer buddy used to be a business partner. Probably like 60 years ago. We're talking about like way far back. We are talking way, way, way far back. This is like the modern definition. You ever seen a study where it's like, I think I've talked about this before. Ever seen a study where it's like 99% of chances are like your friend is actually more like a third degree LinkedIn connection. I gotta search this up. They're like, your friends aren't actually your friends, right? People don't do those studies because they're depressing. A lot of my topics are kind of based on that those social node networks. They revolve around that, right? That's why people hate each other. That's why I didn't want to do those studies anymore. Everything, all the friendships are built around, all the economies are built around those kinds of friendships, right? So when you have weak friendships, you have a weak economy. Yeah, you do. And that's kind of, and you look at social media, right? Shallow friends, shallow economy. No truth in U1 to U5 or whatever, unemployment numbers. Just no truth. You see, that's why I don't like interview questions. Branching off to it. And one of the reasons I don't like it, because it's not a good gauge of like what you're looking for an employee. But you know, I don't care. Everyone needs a job, right? People need a job somehow, right? You just need money, and you do what you can, whatever your employer tells you. Just don't complain, right? That's what I am. Now, if you actually, because if you don't actually offer like something that they truly want, you can't do it. You don't really have any positioning to complain. That's true. If you complain more, you complain more when you offer more, right? This is how the game works, right? That's why the mistress to the billionaire gets more, right? She can complain to HR, right? Or he can, right? Depending on what angle, however you angle it. You can't. If you're an employee, you really can't. That's why I don't complain to HR these days to anything. I don't have any positioning. And the other thing I was talking about was like, I'm starting to realize I have an appreciation for school regardless of whether there's any payoff, because you can actually try different stuff. Corporations can't, right? It's always dependent on the amount of labor existing, right? Yeah, Amazon is very limiting, right? I work fast on certain stuff, right? Counts and picking and stuff, but it's like, I can't do problem solve. There's a barriers to entry right there. But it's like, oh, I gotta wait for a year? Right? Some of these things like, well, you can try personal assistant, you can't apply for it, you can still, why don't you try it? You can't even really do anything. You have a lot of people are like, the reason why some people get it is because they're bad at work, right? Yeah, it's just not, they just have to do that because they work slow. So they're forced to do those things, those computer workers. Well, if you suck at manual work, you do that. Well, but if school, you do everything. And I find if you're a true avid learner, that's like an excitement in life, right? And it's more optimal, right? Depending on how you angle school. In a capitalist setting. Now, it wouldn't make as much money, but it could be useful. There's more opportunities for learning, more opportunities to pursue stuff later on, long run, right? But you can't do it within a corporate setting. So it's not like something where you can make 6 figures, but it's definitely worth throwing my money for if you're an efficient CEO that has the time to intelligently create their own side boot camp where you force your employees to go use. Or pay extra, I don't know. Yeah, people do that. I probably would do that, but just, wouldn't do. Well, there's plenty of time and opportunities to move up. Leave. I'll help you leave. I'll help you leave. Bye. If you come into HR, if I was a CEO, I will literally give you the boot, and I'll say, hey, I'll make you a business owner. You can leave now. You create your better company. Right? Take some action. Oh no, I'll provide the business loan once it gets big enough. I promise you. You help the other complainers get a better job, provide a better work environment. Given that, you leave. Period. I don't need a loser like you in my company. You be a bigger winner than me. I'll be glad to be a bigger loser for saying that. Yeah, you jumpstart the economy. Now work for someone like Bill Gates. Oh, we'll see how that goes. Or I don't know who else. Who else exists? Bill Gates is the nice guy. It's got nothing to do with the fact that I called him president. Not called him, but that job positioning for administrative assistant. Bill's the nice guy on the cover letter still, right? Has that changed yet? I don't think LinkedIn's reflecting anything like reality. LinkedIn, too terrified to report the truth. I wonder if anyone actually likes each other on LinkedIn. That's the question I've always wanted to ask on my number 4 on my Christmas list. I actually want to know their inner dark thought on LinkedIn. I just want to know. I actually want to know if they like each other or they just hate each other. I know I saw Trump on LinkedIn. I wonder why. Got a LinkedIn page. What do you use it for? I mean, I know people poke people to get jobs on LinkedIn, but I mean, beyond that, I seriously wonder what you use it for. LinkedIn's one of those pages where it's like if you actually manage to poke the billionaire, they just get pissed off. But you think, well, that's a chance to get a job. Maybe. Might still have to use it. I don't know. I always thought LinkedIn was like that. That's kind of listed on their commercial. If anyone is offended by me, like they didn't think about this before, just know that a lot of people would have thought about this too if they took 5 minutes or 10 minutes out of their day. But a lot of people have better things to do, like partying, relaxing in their yacht, buying hookers, right? Watching TMZ, watching CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, There's better things to do, like watching The Great Distraction of Life. Right? And awkwardly coughing at people you don't like, right? That's pretty much what people would rather do. I, on the other hand, would rather stay productive, right? And think about this. Because, look, a lot of these conclusions, they're not new. This stuff's been out there since the Middle Ages, guys. You got to really think about this, right? Right? I started like my social media feed because I wanted to get some stuff out and I'm desperate, right? I didn't go on the internet because I wanted to. I needed to. There's a big difference right now. The big difference is I needed to do this, right? It's just like, it's not like I wanted to. Like, when you need to do something, you just do it. You don't say anything. It just happens. It's like when a wild animal decides it wants to hunt for prey. It just hunts. It doesn't communicate anything, okay? It's just a micro communication. And then it makes a big macro move, right? It just attacks. At least in terms of its life. But anyways, it's a micro move. Yeah, they do that all the time. So, yeah, I have changed my mind, right? I've completely converted somewhat, depending on the cost for the schooling. I don't even care if it pays off. Yeah, it's like, fuck 20K, fuck that, sorry. I'll stop cussing. It's a club. It's got to be a club that guarantees that I can make actual friends after I graduate out of the club, right? Gives me the tools to make friends, consistent friends. Give me a conversion rate. Because that's the only worth of a school, right? Regardless of if it gives you a job or not. If it can give you a consistently building social network, right? Where people help each other out, eventually I truly believe that group will give you money when you start your own business, right? I thought about how some of these CEOs start clubs. Like, I can't find any other CEO like Bill. Bill's the most sensible one out of all of them. Like, at least in terms of who I am, right? If you're a disabled person like me who struggles in learning, Bill Gates is the CEO to model after. Anyone else, forget about it. Just go. Those are the competent people in the high end of the Norman Bell distribution curve for the intelligence spectrum, right? Right, like the upper 5%, right? Those people, you just go follow the other CEOs. If you're looking for the ones who have to iterate in slow stages and building up like capital and everything else, it's Bill Gates. Everyone else, yeah, you know, I guess if you're like Mark Zuckerberg, like the next Mark Zuckerberg, you might as well just model after everyone else. Bill's the sensible one. Everyone else is just, I can't explain what I'm doing. Yeah, that's the one to start off, right? Like, if you ever play Yu-Gi-Oh! Championships, you got the starter deck. Bill's the starter deck. Yeah, he's retired, but he's the starter deck. The advanced decks like Jeff Bezos, Steve Jobs. Right, Sundar Pichai. I'm serious right now. Everyone else is like, I gotta advance my thinking, right? You want to start like learning 3D chess beginning basics, just Bill Gates. I don't know anyone else, right? He knows how to be Bill Gates at the same time. It's either that or Alex Jones, but Alex Jones doesn't count, right? I don't know. I'm just thinking right now. Oh no, the other ones, I just crossed them off the list because they just kind of hide. Those are advanced moves. You can't learn advanced moves right now. That's not. You got to start somewhere. Advanced moves are advanced moves for a reason. Right? That's why I was talking about the club thing. That's why I like, that's the only purpose for me for a school. I'm willing to pay like $40 a month, right? 40 to 80, I'd say. If we can have a club where it's like, I'm giving you the skills to make friends. Every single day, I'll make 5 new friends. Reliable, solid friends that can maybe help you find a job, right? Help you network for shit, right? Right? Maybe get a guy purchase a unit from you, right? As you job hunt. That's a club worth joining. If you can give me some solid averages, right? Maybe not even a day. Maybe that's too hopeful. Right? Maybe once every month, right? That's great. That is worth investing in. That's a school worth investing in. An actual, you know, for my case, because supply chain is actually cool. Supply chain, doesn't matter what it is, actually. That's a club that you actually want to get into. Because now you can actually start your own business, right? Even if only just one customer comes once every 3 months. Now that's the startup for the actual business, right? Because businesses are actually social networks when you think about it. Right? Where you have a bunch of friends and they like you enough, or they respect you enough where they purchase stuff from you. That's school worth investing in, right? Depending on the budget. That's what schools are meant for. And what ends up happening when you build a social network is that you actually can form spiritual connections and you can build your own mana pool. Which is the original purpose of schools, by the way, because you look in the medieval ages, they were originally medieval monks, right? Rich medieval monks who studied together in a monastery. That was kind of the whole purpose of schools, right? They built their own magic pool. So, and the magic pool kind of keeps growing, right? Right? Memory palaces, memory leaks, right? Visualization, right? The occultic origins. Right? That's how the magic gets built. A lot of the stuff you read about grimoires and stuff, those are dependent on people's different interpretation of the same events, right? Right? That all builds from a lot of these schools. They all see the same vision and they interpret it differently. I can't think of it like any other way. I've talked about this before too. Yeah, same for the Bible. They see the same thing, right? They're interpreting it differently. They're getting different information from it. That's what the Bible is, basically. And so a lot of these events happened. People are interpreting it differently, right? It's the scion, right? It's the spiritual connection. And those all originated from a school, right? The Garden of Eden was the first school ever made, right? This is kind of what schools were originally. They were social no-no networks. People just kind of forgot about that, and they just milked the system for what it's worth. So what I would do is I want to invest, I don't care about the pay. I just want to invest in a school that can build a consistent social no network. You give me one right now. If you can give me one, I will legitimately invest in it. Now, if you can't give me one like that, forget about it. It could be for fun, doesn't matter. That's actually got value. Because now you learn how to network, and then once you can network, you can start selling, right? You got friends that trust you enough, you can start poking. Those kind of friends, anyways. I always measure the strength of the economy by the strength of the friendship. The more shallow the friendship, the worse the economy is. You can have shallow friends, don't get me wrong, but you need stronger friendships to kind of balance it, right? So LinkedIn has first, second, and third degree connections, right? So the first connection is like the strongest type of friendship, right? Second is sort of in the middle, the bellwether friend, and the third is like the guy you never see. Right? And of course there's exceptions to the rules to everything else, but that's kind of how life works. Yeah, so because friendships are shallow as hell, right? The economy is never going to get better. Oh, trust me. Oh, no, it never gets better. All those unemployment numbers, they're all a lie. It's going to be high. Oh, it doesn't matter, right? So if you're a job applicant, you get rejected. Are any of you guys forming a business for each other? You truly are friends. Don't you run the mile for each other? Right? Friends can be family on when tough times happen, right? Right? It doesn't matter if you got a fiat currency system, gold standard. Gold standard collapsed because the friendship network around the gold standard was weak. People just shorted each other. True friends don't cheat on each other, right? Right? Friendship is magic is a real thing, you guys, okay? That existed for a reason. That exactly encompasses, My Little Pony, friendship exactly encompasses what I just talked about just now. Right? I'm so glad, right? Society, do they learn their lesson? No, they don't. You know what they'd rather do? Oh, hi, I'm going to grill and chill today. Right? I want to grill and chill and forget about my life. I'm not here to get, build a strong community. Right? Strong communities build strong supply chains where politicians can make trillions of dollars and everything functions. I'm serious. Political corruptions, they don't mean anything. They really don't if you have a strong community. I'm serious, because what happens is they know how they're confident enough to negotiate with Nancy. Or they take the money from her, right? Or to buy off some of the Chinese donors, right? They form businesses to buy them off. Weak communities are afraid of political scandals. right? They're not afraid. They're afraid to offer Nancy a better sales proposal. That's why a lot of these scandals are a waste of time, because they're from weak communities, weak people. People used to engage in worse back then, right? They used to have, goddamn, didn't they have orgies with Cthulhu at one point? I think that was real. This is worse than China. Politics is a joke. The only reason any of these topics are issues right now is because United States has weak friends, right? Weak communities. Right? That creates a weak nation. The friendship thing got shorted a while back. Do not ask what you can do for your nation. It was something like that. That was basically them virtue signaling, like no one cared. That's kind of what happened. Anyways, I'll end this podcast. This is a very fascinating topic. I would really love to see if there's a supply chain club. It's got value. I study it for fun. I'm open to any job, of course. All right, the corporate office just isn't enough to try different stuff. Right, you got a bunch of excuses not to do stuff. Too many roadblocks. That's why schools are there, so you can get past those roadblocks. Get training. Study the theory. They give you books, right? Right, and the schools used to be acquired free of charge by the corporation, because corporation's like, I can't train this guy. Can you, the school, operate as a small business to help me avoid these corporate roadblocks? They used to do that back then. That's why they're called monks, right? Because you truly are dedicated to learning this. So someday when the job opens up, you can move up, right? You become a monk first before you evolve for a specific job. That showed the monk is the dedication to that craft of that promotional position. How dedicated you are for that promotional opportunity. People used to care. Anyways, that's my rant. All right, I'll end this podcast now.